Hi there, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I know that I am not in the location that my thumbnail indicates that I'm in. The reason I'm taping this literally right before I go to bed is because I avoided uploading this video that you're about to see all day because I hated the way the audio came out. But I've been trying to replicate said video in different locations all day, and I just cannot get my thoughts out as precise as I did in that video. I just like the way I said everything, and I've been lamenting it all day. So now I'm at the point where I'm just going to upload it, and I'm going to put this little snippet in the beginning and warn you ahead of time that I hate everything about the audio. So I'm sorry, and I hate the audio that I did on Monday too. So sorry about that one too. I'm going to try and figure out a solution because I kind of like filming at work. It's kind of fun. So maybe if I can figure out how to get my microphone in a good spot. I didn't bring it today, and that's what made it even worse. But again, I'm going to tape what I'm taping right now, slap it in front of the video in the morning before I leave for work, and just send it off into the universe. So anyway, if you're one of my subscribers, thank you so much for putting up with my amateur antics, and I will see you in the coming days. Thanks, bye. Hi there, my name is Shannon. This is my YouTube channel. I'm currently at work, so I thought I'd just chat a little bit with you about some things that are on my mind. Lately I've been kind of on the negative side of my personality when I'm making videos. So today I kind of wanted to move on to things that are a little more positive about me, things I'm proud of myself for. I wrote down a few of them. I got a little foot pedal underneath that I got to press when I'm doing this, and I should probably show you what I'm doing again. That's this. There's these little wires that come out of here. I have to put some RTV on top of them to cover them up. I have this little dispenser here that with a foot pedal that, sorry, I'm always itchy. Anyway, let's move on to the topic. I've got my little list over here. Things I wanted to talk about were things in my past that I should be a little more proud of about myself. And the first thing that I was going to talk about is the fact that I am musically inclined to a point. When I was in 5th grade, my parents, I must have asked, I doubt they would have done it on their own, but I got signed up for band. And the instrument that I picked was the trumpet. And the reason I picked the trumpet is just because it wasn't an instrument that anybody else was really going for, like maybe a couple boys. All the girls always go for flute or clarinet, you know, the girly instruments. And when I was a kid, I was more kind of a tomboy. I always kind of got along with boys better. So there's one side done. So, yeah, that was the beginning of me in music. And to be fair, I wasn't really all that great at playing the trumpet, but it's not because I'm bad at learning an instrument. I'm not bad at learning the trumpet. I learned it very well, and I did play it competently, but I had some weird thing with my throat where I would constrict my throat when I played, and it would make the sound come out like this odd muted sound. It wouldn't be like a bright trumpety sound. It would be more like it was just, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it was muted sounding. It didn't sound right. And my instructors over the years tried to rectify it with a lot of different techniques and exercises to get me to open up that throat, but it never paid off. I just lost confidence after a while because I thought I was different from everybody else. And then I got through the whole high school playing the trumpet, but I didn't like try to compete with the other trumpet players. You know, you have like chairs that you have to sit in, and we had auditions every year of who got to sit in what chair. And the first chair player would be, you know, the best trumpet player, you know, and on going on down. And I would always make sure that I would end up in, second or third chair. Only because the person who got that coveted first chair spot would have to do all the solos. And they also got like the hardest, because the music would come in like, you would have different levels. Like the top trumpet would have like the melody and all the solos. Second trumpet's pretty much in there too. They might harmonize with the first trumpet for some type of solo, a little more complicated. But as you go down chairs, 3, 4, 5, you're getting a lot more simplified in what you're playing. You're playing more of the harmony as opposed to the melody. So if you're not very skilled, you're going to end up with, just playing a bunch of whole notes all day, if you know what that is. Just a little bit more on this one. So anyway, I know I'm capable of reading music. I'm capable of understanding, how it's supposed to be put together, how it's supposed to sound, the rhythm. And when I say that, I'm not saying it because it's going to lead me to writing some masterpiece of music one day. I mean, I told you in another video that I use AI to write my music. I'm not capable of writing it from scratch. But I'm capable of learning more instruments, which is what I'm trying to get to. So that's kind of one of my, it's not an important goal, but if I want to start doing this, I want to start doing things I think I thought about for years. The trumpet that I used to play in high school, I mean, the day I graduated was probably the last time I picked it up. And I thought about playing it for years after I left high school. Like, I even looked into like community bands they have sometimes, people that are still want to play an instrument, but you don't really have anywhere to go. You're not good enough to be in an orchestra or something, which I'm definitely not. I'll show you that when I was all the way done. I doubt you even care, but just in case. Both sides. Alright. So, another one. So yeah, I want to learn a new instrument. Hopefully I can get some lessons going in the next year. And then I can start filming my progress on that too. But I'm going to stay away from anything that's wind related. I still don't like flutes or clarinets, but one exception is the oboe. I like the way the oboe sounds. So I want to try the oboe. I don't think that it requires a lot of when you're pushing the air out like a brass instrument would. Sorry, I'm like, whoa. And so the one besides the oboe, the other one that comes to my mind is a mandolin, like guitar. I like the way that sounds too. So maybe I can learn both. That would be pretty cool. Sorry, I gotta find my foot pedal again. Alright, there it is. So, second thing I'm really proud of myself is that, at least from my personal perspective, I think I'm a very academically inclined person, despite the fact that I did so poorly in high school. Once I decided to try college out, I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do. And it gave me a lot of confidence about how smart I am, I guess. I'm book smart anyway. I'm not exactly street smart, even though I grew up in a fairly rural or urban area. I had a tendency to do naive things, and I probably still do naive things, just because I trust people. I shouldn't. Anyway, I can thank my dad, I think, for my interest in learning, my curiosity. I mean, growing up, he was a big reader. Both my parents were big readers, but my dad was more into history. He did read a lot of historical fiction, like Shogun, things like that. But he also loved to read just straight up history. And probably the one topic that he stuck on the most, well, there's two, but they both kind of go over the same theme, is first, he was super into World War II. He probably consumed every book and piece of media there was about World War II when I was growing up. And then he moved on. Put my sleeve up. Then he moved on
Ooh, can I turn that? You can see it? I don't know. I'm trying so hard. I want to have an angle where you can see what I'm doing, but not have half my head cut off. Not working out. Well, and having my phone close enough to talk to you. But anyway. My dad, yeah, he was super into World War II. Then he moved on to the Civil War. And I still have a bunch of his books. I mean, I'm not as into the Civil War as he was. I'm not even really into military history as much as he was. I'm more into cultural history. Like, I'm like a people, I'm curious about other people, with different cultures all throughout the world, different cultures throughout time. And my first delve into learning about history was going back into learning like the whole thing about the Romans. Sorry, why am I not saying that? Their whole history, from beginning to end. I was really into that. I mean, it's not something I can just spout a bunch of facts about, but I got the general gist now after reading a few books. And there was this huge long podcast about the history of Rome that I listened to. It took a few months to get through because it was so detailed. It's like you grow up, you know Rome exists, you know the basics that, how, Julius Caesar and all, the big names, but learning all the little details and how things happened and progressed over time, the rise and then the fall, just really captured my attention. And then after I finished that, it's just led into me wanting to learn about essentially everything all at once. Actually, I'm going to move this tray. It's too high up. Let's do this. And I don't think I could pick an actual time in history that I like the most. I mean, I like European history. I like Asian history. I like anything. So, and I still have so much more to learn. I'm no expert, that's for sure. What's helped me in the last year and what I want to continue is I've started consuming audiobooks at work. I used to be a voracious reader. I would read all the time, but I never really got into nonfiction or any kind of educational type of books until the last roughly year. The first book I picked up when it was not an audiobook, I actually read it. I read it out loud to my boyfriend, was a book of Herodotus. And if you've never heard of Herodotus, he's basically considered the very first historian ever. That he's Greek. And he wrote his histories, I don't even remember what the year was. It was like 700 BC, 300, somewhere in the BC time. But when reading him, I don't know, it's just learning about how people thought back then and the observations that he made. I mean, granted, a lot of it was kind of sensationalist because he was trying to tell a good story, but that was like my first technically history book. And I had, at the time, oh no, my little thing's coming on. How did that happen? Yep. At the time, I thought that I would continue in Greek history and, just move on up to the next guy who wrote a book. But when I read the summary, I'm trying to think of his name. Oh, Thucydides, that's his name. It just seemed dry to me, and I wasn't into that. So then I started moving on to just whatever grabbed my fancy. And it's mostly just been historical fiction. But I do, I throw in, like I read a book not too long ago about the pirate age in the Caribbean, and how the rise and fall of that essentially. And that was a lot more interesting. Because, when you grow up, you only see, like, pretty much, unless you really delve into it, like Hollywood representations of what happened then, Gosh dang it. Sorry, things aren't cooperating with me. This stuff can get really messy. So that's a big part of why I think I'm academically inclined. I'm always eager to learn, very curious about the world around me. And another reason I kind of lean that way is I'm a very scientific person. The whole reason I went back to college, which I went back to college in 2009. I didn't finish college. That's a whole nother story, which maybe I'll get into. But when I did go back to college, I was majoring in biology, and then I was minoring in chemistry, because I'm super into not only science, but I'm super into just nature in general and just how the world works, the plant world, the animal world, cells, just everything about how life works. And so I wanted to get a degree. I finally somehow got the confidence and motivation to apply to a 4-year college that I lived near at the time in Wisconsin. When I lived in Wisconsin for not a short time, I lived there for almost 10 years, I think. But when I did start school, I mean, my math skills were so horrendous that when I took the entrance exam, where they figure out where they're going to place you, they put me in the lowest level math class that they had offered. And I mean, we're talking remedial math. I had to learn decimals again, and fractions, and long division. But I aced that one. I mean, it was me and like 3 other people in that class, all the stupid people, I guess. And just one after another. Every semester I would just take the next level up, and I eventually got to, I shouldn't go so fast, each level up. I aced them. I got A pluses practically in every single math class I took, until I got to pre-calculus. And pre-calculus is, I think I would have been fine if I had a tutor or something, but the way they were doing that course, they were going through it too fast. Like, I couldn't keep up with it's like we would move on to the next thing before I had a chance to process the last thing. And I started falling behind with everything. And it's also the same time that I met my boyfriend, who is now my boyfriend, right around 2010, 11. This is when all this was going down. My college had already been going for a while when I met him. All right, I'm going to try and untangle this stupid, messed up thing. It's driving me crazy. But, and not even just math. Like, every class I took, I did so well. And I didn't think I was, all those years. I mean, this is when I was like 38 when this happened, 40, somewhere in there. I waited that long to have the confidence to think that I could actually pass college. And when I went to English class, the teacher would just praise me so much. She would use my work as examples of how the work should be turned in. And she loved my writing. She loved everything. So apparently I'm a good writer too. And I'm proud. I think I have a pretty good vocabulary. I don't think I'm a simplified talker like some people can be who are uneducated. I like to communicate at a certain level, I guess. I don't like to dumb things down just for the hell. I do talk in slang. I do swear. I mean, you've seen my videos. But I also like to come off as, at least somewhat educated when I'm talking to people. It probably comes from all the books I read, because like I said, I didn't apply myself at all when I was in high school. At any course, really, other than band. And even then, I was so shy. Like I said, I wouldn't even go for first chair. Even though I probably, was capable of doing it. It just sounded weird, so it made me self-conscious. So, I don't know what the academic side of me is going to bring me in the future. Probably just not being fooled by stupid propaganda and things like that, but at least I can go to the end of my life knowing I'm not an idiot. At least I don't think I am. I'm an idiot with social things. That's my weakness, really. In general, I can figure things out without having someone else come help me. I don't need other people to think for me. That's what I'm proud of. Alright, that looks pretty good, I guess. I guess the next thing I want to get to is I'm proud of is I have a very dry, sarcastic, some would say dark sense of humor. I don't know if you'll ever see that when if I have an occasion to do something. But that's another thing I got from my dad. I mean, we grew up watching things like Monty Python. So, on top of having a dry, witty, sarcastic sense of humor, I especially love the humor that comes out of like British, even to this day, British television shows. I just align with their humor so well. And growing up, after I saw Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I was so excited I would show my friends from school. And they would just sit there like completely bored, like what the hell is this? And it started getting me to a point where I was starting to judge my friends because, like, what are you, too stupid to understand these jokes? You know, like, they would just go over their heads. But I thought they were hilarious. And I've kind of been that way for the remainder of my life, I think. You know? It's like, if you don't like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, like, if you don't get it, then we're not going to be friends. Because that humor is just right up my alley. I love everything about it. And people like, what can I think of his name? The guy who made Spaceballs, Mel. Why can't I think of his last name? I love his movies. Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein. That kind of humor. Just kind of, you know, goofy yet, I don't know. Hopefully you get where I'm coming from with that. But it's something I'm proud of myself. I think I got, you know, I'm pretty witty. I come back pretty good on stuff. I make people laugh. Not to the point where I think I can go and be a stand-up comedian or anything. But enough to where people around me at least somewhat think I'm funny. And that makes me happy. And then the last thing that I was going to come up with is, I mean, there's plenty of things. The other things that I thought of today, but is that despite everything I've gone through in my life, I still have a sense of optimism. I still have empathy for other people. I still have compassion. I haven't started being cynical about things, mostly. And especially about myself. I mean, I complain about myself. There's a lot of things about myself that I wish I could change, or that I wish were not there at all, ever. But I still have this feeling in the back of my head that that's all going to change one day. I just got to figure out how to do it. That's all. Like I said, I have the smarts. I have compassion. I have a lot of good traits. I just have to figure out how to put those together in a way that doesn't give me anxiety. You know, and I think I'm figuring that. I mean, granted, YouTube definitely gives me anxiety. Every single video I post, I'm stressing about it for like 2 or 3 days afterwards until it calms down and nobody's really commenting anymore. And I still have like videos that are up right now that I'm constantly debating on whether I should keep them there or not, because they stress me out. I guess there's only really one now, and that's the one that brought most of you here, so maybe I shouldn't feel so bad about it, and that's the one where I was lamenting about my sister not helping me. I mean, at the time I made it, I just, was what was on my mind. I should have probably brought that topic up a little bit later so I didn't get such a flood of people in here. But in terms of optimism, I don't know, I still feel like one day I'm going to live where I want to live. One day I'm still going to have a house. I'm going to have that big yard with all the trees I can picture. I'm going to have it all. And I'm glad that I still have that in me. I mean, I know I'm not going to have some big career now. I mean, I'm past the age of 50 and I'm still doing this for a living. But I just think I have it in me. There's something out there. There's so many things that you could do, if you're a creative person at least, to make money. That's all it comes down to, is finding an alternate way to pay my piddly little bills. I don't even, I don't bring in that much money per month here. I mean, I could easily replace it with something, as long as it's consistent. That's all I had written down. And we've gone past, oh my goodness, it's at 25 minutes. I really hope the sound quality is good on this one, because my last video was crud. But I still put it out because I liked what I was saying, and I was having a hard time getting my thoughts out, like literally all day. And I finally managed to do it because I was working. It's like having your brain occupied by one thing helps your thoughts get out. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off. I'm still planning on bringing my mom somewhere after the doctor on Friday. Thinking lunch and then maybe something else, like maybe Hobby Lobby, or what was the other place I was thinking of? Oh yeah, the pet store. I want to bring her to the pet store because she's really obsessed with her dogs getting fed in the morning lately. Like, she doesn't think they like anything. And so I want her to pick out the food, and maybe, it'll be in her head that she picked it out. That's what they like. So yeah, maybe bring her to, at least to the pet store, possibly Hobby Lobby, depending on time constraints and whether she's feeling up to it. I mean, that's a lot of going out in one day. And then I got other ideas coming up for her, but I'll bring those up later since I'm still talking. And I gotta fill my little thing, it just ran out of stuff. Regardless, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you. I'll probably have to edit that video a little bit, so it won't come out on Friday more than likely. Hopefully I can get it out by Saturday. Until then, I hope you guys have a good week. Bye.